so on, and even the production of cereals. And this had to be done such as by subsidizing the farmers, making sure that fertilizers and seeds are available at affordable prices. And then once the farmers have produced their commodities, they needed to find ready market so that they could earn from the sale of their produce, so that in the end, the economic revival had a positive impact on the lives, daily lives of the local people. So this happened. May I just give one example? In the dairy sector, farmers would have supplied their milk and it would take 6 months before they are paid. You see, but once the new KCC had been established, and the farmer would supply the milk to this marketing body, and within 5 days of the new and a 6-year-old said to me on phone, Kibaki is president and education is free. You know, those are just the 2 points a 6-year-old made, said to me. And so the idea of free primary education was so significant, because you couldn't have a population that is not educated. This is the worst society you can lead. It's one where people are not educated. And so this, to me, is landmark. The other thing that is landmark is it was not easy to access credit, and banks would require customers to have collateral, could have security. They didn't have. Interest rates were at 30% and so on. This frustrated entrepreneurship and so on. And so what I feel was a major transformation was to improve the financial market so that interest rates came down, government borrowed less from the domestic market. This is what brought down in interest rates. And so entrepreneurs were able to access credit. In fact, at some point, banks began to get credit from the bank. And so access to credit was one of the opportunities that enabled transformation. Suddenly, there were businesses booming everywhere, thanks to credit. The other factor that I consider very, very critical, and I mentioned earlier, was a public service that is committed to serving citizens. And someone mentioned earlier the idea of public participation and so on. So the expectations of citizens. We now had things like customer satisfaction surveys being undertaken in all government institutions. Things like quality statement in terms of public service delivery. Things like stating clearly how long it will take for a certain between the time a client makes a request and the time the institution responds to that request. So you have to state whether it will be 5 minutes, it will be 1 month, it will be 2 weeks, and so on, and stick to those timelines. Yeah. And this helped to make sure that citizens received the quality service that they deserved and expected from public institutions.
Just to look at even your time as served as those days they were called permanent secretary, that stands out for you in your mind, that you took up a project, or you took up an initiative, and you said you wanted to do something and it was a success. How did Kibaki support his people in the implementation of some of the things that they were undertaking?
Yeah, that's a very important question. When I write my book, I'll underscore that. The fact that, I was appointed permanent secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs Department, and kind of strike and so on. And so we had to get down to bring about reforms and transformation that would restore dignity to that service. And so there were two factors that made it possible. Number one, the minister in charge, who was Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, was very...
Nasuka nitakuwa na wasikiliza polepole.
Kwambia achebuka. Achebuka na hizo jacket. Hiyo live yao iko wapi? Ni vai. Niko natutishia.